Hey there! Today, we're going to talk about something a lot of us have felt, but maybe couldn't quite put into words. That feeling of being totally and completely overwhelmed in a crowd.
Have you ever been at a party, a concert, or even just a packed mall, looked around and had this exact thought? Everyone else looks like they're having the time of their lives, feeding off the energy, but for you, it's just a bit much. So, the first thing to get straight is that this is real. This isn't you being difficult or antisocial. It's a genuine psychological and even physical response.
It starts small, doesn't it? You can almost feel it in your body. Your shoulders might tense up a little. Maybe you find yourself subconsciously looking for the nearest door. It's like some kind of primal switch gets flipped.
First, there's the sound. And it's not just one sound. It's a wall of noise. Hundreds of conversations, music, phones ringing. It all just sort of melts into this one big, chaotic hum.
And then you've got the motion. People are constantly walking by, maybe bumping into you, gesturing. It's like visual chaos, and your brain is trying to track all of it.
Your brain just starts picking up on, well, everything. You notice the couple over in the corner having a quiet, tense argument. You feel the person walking just a little too close behind you. You hear the tone of voice in a conversation happening feet away.
And after a while of your brain working in overdrive like that, you just get worn out. It's not that you're tired of being around people, it's that your brain is literally tired from processing a mountain of data.
So that leads us to the big question, right? What's the difference? How can one person feel totally energized by a crowd, while the person standing right next to them feels like their battery is being completely drained?
Well, the answer seems to lie in how our brains are wired to handle all that stimulation. You can almost think of it as a tale of two different kinds of brains, one that filters the world out and one that observes it all.
Let's break it down. You've got the filter brain on one side. This brain is amazing at tuning out all the background noise. For this person, the crowd is just wallpaper. On the other side, you've got the observer brain. This brain takes everything in. It's experiencing the crowd in high definition, processing every little sound, every movement, every vibe. So think about yourself for a second. When you walk into a busy room, are you the one who instantly spots the person looking a little lost or picks up on the slight change in someone's tone of voice? If that's you, well, you might just have an observer's mind. Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of what's happening inside that observer's mind. It really boils down to two key psychological factors: sensory overload and a feeling of losing control. Think of it like a 1-2 punch. First, your brain's CPU gets totally maxed out from all the sensory input it's trying to process. Then, because a crowd is so unpredictable and chaotic, your brain feels like it has no control over the situation, and that triggers a stress response. And sensory overload isn't just about things being too loud. It's about your mind trying to follow 10 conversations at once, trying to read the body language of everyone around you until it just hits a breaking point and says, nope, that's enough. This question just nails that second feeling, the loss of control. When you're in an environment you can't predict or manage, your brain starts running simulations. It's looking for an escape plan. It's a low-key, constant search for safety that keeps your nervous system on high alert. And I really want to drive this point home. This has absolutely nothing to do with whether you like people or not. It's about cognitive bandwidth. It's simply a question of how much information your specific brain is wired to absorb from the world at any given moment. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Because that same sensitivity, the very thing that makes crowds so overwhelming, well, it's also the source of some pretty incredible hidden strengths. Because you're taking in so much information, you're often incredibly empathetic. You're a deep thinker, seeing layers to things that others miss, and you're a creative observer, connecting dots and seeing patterns that are basically invisible to the filter brain. Just think about it. That knack for noticing the one person in the room who's feeling uncomfortable, that's your empathy in action. That habit of analyzing a situation from every possible angle, that's deep thinking. Your wiring gives you a kind of superpower. Let's be honest, our culture tends to celebrate loud, extroverted energy. But that's just one way of being in the world. Not every mind is built to run on chaos. And there's a profound strength in minds that operate best when things are a little calmer. So if you've always felt this way in crowds, maybe it's time to reframe that thought. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. In fact, it might be the clearest sign there is that you experience the world with a richness and a depth that most people can't even imagine. And maybe that's the ultimate takeaway here. Stepping away from the crowd isn't a weakness. It's just getting a better vantage point. Because sometimes the people who stand a little bit apart are the ones who can see the whole picture.